Welcome back to your social class, dear students. This is your fifth video in lesson number 2, history from trade to territory. So we have to start from the British administrative organization in India. The British Indian administration was run by four principal institutions such as civil, service, army, police and judiciary. So these were the four principal institutions run by British Indian administration. So we are going to see all these four institutions in brief now. So coming to the first one, what? Civil service. So what is civil service? The term civil service was used for the first time by the East India Company to distinguish its civilian employees from their military counterparts. So this was the first term. Which one? Civil service was the first term used for the first time by East India Company in order to distinguish its civilian employees, civilized civilian employees from their military counterparts. Translating laws into action and collecting revenue were the main jobs of the civil service. What were the main jobs for the civil service? Translating law into action. Okay, the law will be translated into action. If the law is there, they will be implementing it in an action. Okay, and another one is what? Collecting revenue, collecting income is where the main job of civil service employees. Okay, the civil service was initially commercial in nature, but later it was transformed into a public service. So in earlier stage, this civil service, that is collecting revenue and translating law, were initially commercial nature. So later they transformed the civil service into public service. In the beginning, the appointment to these services was the sole prerogative of the court of directors of the company. So in the earlier time, in the beginning time, appointing these services, okay, was very sole prerogative. So prerogative is nothing but its right or privilege. Okay, in Tamil we say urimai. Okay, so in the beginning, the appointment to these services was the sole prerogative of the court of directors of the company, but the nominated civil servants indulged in corruption, bribery and illegal private traders. So in earlier stage they were doing in a very good manner. So what happened later? The civil servants, they started to make corruption in this service, like getting briberies and like doing illegal trade without the knowledge of the higher authority. Okay, so everything started to get corrupted. So Cornwallis, who came to India as Governor General in the year 1786, enforced the rules against private trade. So later on what happened? Cornwallis, okay, he came to India as Governor General in the year 1786. He enforced some rules against this private trade. He also raised the salary of the company's servants. After he came as the Governor General, he raised the salary of the servants, who became the highest paid civil servants in the world. And Lord Wellesley, who came to India as Governor General in 1798, introduced the idea of suitable training for the civil servants in India. So he started, after coming as the Governor General in India in the year 1798, Cornwallis, he introduced some ideas to for suitable training for the civil service. Okay, he started giving training for the civil service servants. Okay, in the year 1800, he established a college in Fort William at Calcutta. So Fort William at Calcutta. So he established a college in the year 1800 to provide training in literature, science and language. So he wanted to give training for the civil service servants. Okay, so he opened a college in Fort William, which is located in Calcutta. He provided training in what else? He provided training literature, science, and language. However, the directors of the company disapproved of his action and replaced it by their own East India College, established at Haileybury in England in the year 1806. The idea of competition for recruitment was introduced first by the Charter Act 1833. So, this was the first act, that is Charter Act 1833. The idea of competition for recruitment, okay, for recruiting persons or employees for the work purpose, okay, the competition got introduced for the first time by Charter Act 1833. But the system of competition was these: not nominated by the court of directors, were not eligible to write the competitive examination. Hence, the system was called as a nomination cum competition system. So, this system was called as what? Nomination cum competition system. The system of recruitment on the basis of open competitive examination was introduced in the year 1853. So, in order to have recruitment, they conducted an open competition examination which was introduced in the year 1853. This system was confirmed by the Government of India Act of 1858. So, later they confirmed under the government in the year 1858. The maximum age for competitors was fixed at 23. So, whoever is in the age of 23, they can compete in this examination. Subsequently, East India College at Haileybury was abolished in the year 1858 and recruitment to civil service became the responsibility of the Civil Service Commission. So, later they started to have a recruitment progress, and that was the main responsibility for Civil Service Commission. By the regulation of 1860, the maximum age was lowered to 22. In the year 1866 to 21, and in the year 1876 to 19. So, gradually they started to reduce the age from 23 to 22, next 22 to 21. Then at last they reduced in the year 1876 for the age of 19. Next, the Indian Civil Service Act of 1861, passed by the British Parliament, exclusively reserved certain categories of high executive and judicial posts for the convenant civil service, which was later designated as the Indian Civil Service. Due to the lowering of age limit and holding of examination in London, it could be possible only for a very few wealthy Indians to appear at the ICS examination. This ICS examination. Okay, so here, so they started to lower the age at 19 years, from 23 to gradually they reduced to 19. Isn't it? In order to hold the examination in London, they need to write the examination in London. It is very few wealthy Indians can appear in this examination. Okay, that is ICS examination. In the year 1869, three Indians named Surendranath Banerjee. This is the first one, Surendranath Banerjee, and second one is Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Bihari Lal Gupta became successful in the ICS examination. These three persons, they gave a complete tough to this examination, and these three got selected in this examination. They made this examination in a successful way. Who were they? Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Bihari Lal Gupta. So, and these were the pictures of these three Indian who passed ICS examination in the year 1869. So, this is the picture of Surendranath Banerjee. And next one is Ramesh Chandra Dutt. And the last one is Bihari Lal Gupta. Both pictures are same picture. Okay, Bihari Lal Gupta. Next, coming to do you know? Satyendranath Tagore. Satyendranath Tagore, the elder brother of poet Rabindranath Tagore, was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination in the year 1863. So, in the year 1863, that is before these three persons who were Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Bihari Lal Gupta, before these three persons, Rabindranath Tagore's elder brother, okay, Satyendranath Tagore, he was the first Indian to pass this ICS examination in the year 1863. Whereas these three persons, they passed this examination in 1869. Okay. Next. So this is the picture of Satyendranath Tagore. So he was the elder brother of whom? Poet Rabindranath Tagore. Next. Later on, the Indian demanded to increase the age limit and to establish a center for examination in India instead of England. So later on, the Indians, they started to demand to increase the age from 19 to certain age, okay, and they wanted the examination center to be in India instead of conducting the examination in England. That was the first thing they demanded. Okay, second one, in 1892, the minimum age limit for appearing for the civil service examination was raised to 21. So in the year 1892, the government started to increase the age for whom they are going to appear for the examination from 19 to 21. Okay, and the maximum to 23. So the 21 to 23 age of persons, they can appear for this civil service examination. Okay, in which year they made this? 1892. Next, in 1912, Royal Commission on Public Service was appointed. So in 1912, Royal Commission on Public Service was appointed, chaired by Lord Islington. This commission had two Indian members. Who were they? G.K. Colhale and Sir Abdur Rahim, besides 4 Englishmen. The commission published its report in the year 1917. Islington Commission's recommendations partly fulfilled the demand for the Indianization of civil service. So these are the pictures of Lord Islington and G.K. Colhale. Next. In the year 1918, Montague and Lord Chelmsford recommended that 33% Indians should be recruited in Indian civil service and gradually the number should be increased. So these two persons, Montague and Lord Chelmsford, okay, they recommended that 33% of Indians should be recruited in Indian civil service and gradually, that is slowly, they wanted to increase the number. Okay, in the year 1923, the Royal Commission on Public Service was appointed with Lord Lee of Fareham as chairman. So Lord Lee of Fareham, he was appointed as the chairman of Royal Commission. Okay, this commission recommended that recruitments to all Indian service like the Indian Civil Service, the Indian Police Service and the Indian Forest Service should be made and controlled by the Secretary of State for India. So this commission, they recommended that the recruitment for all the Indian service like Indian Civil Service, Indian Police Service and Indian Forest Service, they should have some control by Secretary of State for India. the Lee Commission recommended the immediate establishment of the Public Service Commission. So this is the picture of Lord Kelmford and Lord Lee of Fareham. Next. The Act of 1935 also made provisions for the establishment of a Federal Public Service Commission at the centre and the Provincial Public Service Commission in the various provinces. Provision was also made for a joint public sector service commission in 2 or more provinces. Although the main aim of this measure was to serve the British interest, it became the base of the civil service system in independent India. So next comes army. So now so far we were seeing what? Civil service, and now we are seeing army. We are going to see army. First point, the army was the second important pillar of the British administration in India. So it was the second pillar. What was the first one? The first one was civil service. Okay. The East India Company started recruiting its own army, which came to be known as the Sepoy, from Sipahi or soldier army. So earlier the East India Company, they started to recruit. Recruit is nothing but taking employees, taking persons for job purpose. Okay, they recruited its own army, which came to be known as the Sepoy. Sepoy is nothing but what? In Tamil we say Sipahi. Okay. In English we say soldier. Okay. So Sepoy army. Next, that Sepoy army was trained and disciplined according to European military standards and was commanded by European officers in the battlefields. The Sepoy army, they were trained and disciplined according to European militaries. These were disciplined according to which military? European military standard, and was commanded by European officers in the battlefield. Okay. During the early stage of British rule, 3 separate armies had been organized in 3 presidencies of Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Okay. So early stages, British ruled 3 separate armies. What were the 3 separate armies? There is Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Next, army had a great contribution in the establishment and expansion of British rule in India. So the army, they had a very great contribution in order to establish, and they wanted to expand the British rule in India. Okay, Indian soldiers were given less salaries and allowances than English soldiers. When compared to English soldiers, Indian soldiers were paid very less salaries when compared to them. In 1857, the Indian constituted about 86% of the total strength of the company's army. So in the year 1857, Indians, they constituted how many percentage? 86% of the total strength of the company's army. Okay. However, the officers of the army were exclusively British, wherever the British only having the exclusive army. Okay. For example, in the year 1856, only 3 Indians in the army received a salary of 300 rupees per month. In the year 1856, only 3 Indians in army, they received the salary of rupees how much? 300 per month. Okay. The highest rank an Indian could ever reach was that of a Subedar. Subedar is nothing but soldier. Okay. Next, strength of British army. What are the strength? Plassey War, which happened in the year 1757. 1950 European infantry, 100 European artillery, 50 English sailors and 2100 Indian sepoys. An English army of 6,000 troops was maintained in Bengal. These were the strength, okay, they were having. Next, in the year 1857, the strength of the army in India was 3,11,400, of whom 2,65,900 were Indians. So, These were the complete strength of army in India. Okay, that is 3,11,400. From this 3,11,400, 2,65,900 were Indians. Its officers were British. Okay. After the revolt of 1857, the important changes were made in the Indian Army service in the year 1858. They increased British troops and reduced Indian troops. They increased which troop? British troop they increased, and they gradually reduced the Indian troops. Also, only English were appointed in artillery. Next. Third one, coming to police. When the East India Company took over the Diwani in 1765, the Mughal police system was under the control of Faujar, who were in charge of their sarkars or rural districts. The kotwals were in charge of towns, while the village watchmen were paid and controlled by the zamindars. Okay, so here, so Diwani. So there we have a new word, Diwani here. When the East India Company took over the Diwani. So Diwani is nothing but revenue administrations of Mughal Empire. That is called as what? Diwani. Okay. The Mughal police system was under the control of Fujars. Okay, Fujars is nothing but police officers. Say, Fujars is nothing but what? Police officers. Okay. Who were in charge of the sarkar. Sarkar is nothing but government. Okay. Or rural districts. The kotwals were in charge of towns, while the village watchmen were paid and controlled by the zamindars. Okay. Okay, kotwals. Kotwals is nothing but it's a title used in medieval India for the leader of a major town. Okay, that is called as kotwals. Okay, and we have seen that artillery, infantry in that strength of army. British army, isn't it? Okay, infantry is nothing but in Tamil we say kalar padai. The soldiers who were marching and fighting on foot is called as what? Infantry. Okay, artillery is nothing but having a military ranged weapon. Okay, in Tamil we say birangi, isn't it? That's called as artillery. Okay, fine. Next, the police system was created by Lord Cornwallis. He revealed the zamindars from police functions and established a regular police force in the year 1791. So Cornwallis, he established a system of circles or tanas. So tanas is nothing but what? Police station. Tanas is nothing but police station. Okay. Each headed by a daroga. Daroga is nothing but inspector. Daroga is inspector. Okay. The authority of the daroga is extended to village watchmen who perform the police duties in the village. The hereditary village police became chowkidars. So, okay, chowkidars. Chowkidars is nothing but its police workstation is called as what? Chowkidars. In the big cities, the old office of kotwal was, however, continued, and the daroga was appointed to each of the wards of a city. The daroga system was extended to Madras in the year 1802. So, before the post of district superintendent of police was created, all the tanas were under the general supervision of the district judge. In 1808, a superintendent of police was appointed for each division. Later, the district collector was entrusted with the task of controlling the police force in the districts. The main task of the police was to handle crime and to prevent conspiracy against the British rule. And the last one is judicial system. So tomorrow we shall continue from this, children. We shall just stop up to this. Thank you and take care.